right? What do you want to do tonight?
The same thing we do every night, Pinky. Try to take over the world.
You might think that getting into the IT field is impossible without a computer science degree, but Tech Coach Ralph is here to prove you wrong. Get ready for some jaw-dropping revelations on how to break into this lucrative industry. Listen up, tech enthusiasts! Are you ready to break through into the IT field, but feel like you need a computer science degree to make it happen? Think again! Tech Coach Ralph has some exclusive, mind-blowing secrets to share with you. Get ready to be blown away by his jaw-dropping revelations on how to break into the tech industry without a computer science degree. So get your notepad ready, because Tech Coach Ralph is going to change your life forever. Buckle up, because you're about to embark on a journey to the success field.
It's time!
Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Welcome to 2024. We have made it to another year, so I want to just celebrate that real quick. It is a blessing and a pleasure to be able to hang out with you guys, to do the tech Q&A, do all the shows, to be honest, right? It's amazing. It's truly an honor for me. And then the cherry on top is to be able to work with the Patreon members, with the Tech Barbarians. Got some signups this past few days, and we are going to crush it. We're going to kill it. Spots are filling up. So it is what it is. If you do not make it on board, then so be it. But we're working, we are grinding. It is all good. As you see, the topic of this show today is focus. Focus, focus, focus. So before we go any further, if you do not know who I am your host for tonight. My name is Tech Coach Ralph. And we are engineered to win. That is what we do here, right? We work on leveling up our technical skills, getting better at everything that we do. I believe if we put our hands on it, we have to make it better. We level up. So that is the goal here. We are engineered to win. Very simple. Simple to say, not always easy to do, but we're here. We're in 2024. There is only going forward. We are not looking back at any previous years. We are going to build on top of what we have learned, and we are going to win. There is no other option, because
I mean, you know, all we do is win, man. You know that.
Shout out to DJ Khaled. All we do is win. All right. So let's jump into our agenda like we always do, and then we will get into the show. All right. So first and foremost, I would like to thank all of the newest subscribers. We are growing rapidly. We are doing some amazing stuff. I have some nice things planned out for this year. So shout out to all of the newest subscribers. And shout out, of course, to the Tech Barbarians, to all of my Patreon members. Like I said, I just got 2 of the Tech Barbarians signed up. just in the past few days, and we are going to crush it. You know, I like two of the people who signed up, right? One of them met with them, like they scheduled a call to like a consultation. We met, and then right after that, they signed up. And then the other one, my good friend D, he's been saying he's going to sign up like in January, and then January came around, and boom, signed up. Already scheduled his call for today, and we are hitting the ground running. Look, we work and we put in the work. Simple as that, right? We put in the work so we can continue to level up, and that is the goal. And along with focused as the goal for this year, it's also growth, right? We want to grow in all aspects. So that is what I'm going to be looking forward to, and that is what I encourage you to do as well. Like in the Canon conversations that came out on Monday, yesterday, it was about winning in 2024. But in order to win, you're going to have to be focused, and you're going to have to be focused on growth. All right. So remember that. All right. All right. So the next thing that we're going to do is we are going to talk about our show schedule. All right. So our show schedule goes as this. We have our live shows on Sunday. So this is for now, right? Our live show, I mean, by now we might make modifications, we might add shows, but let's just go with that, right? So our live show schedule, we have Sunday afternoons. We have our software explorations. We are still working through Terraform. We did a slight pivot this past weekend, and I'll talk about it a little bit, but we had a slight pivot. We're going back to Terraform this coming Sunday. Tuesday nights, tonight, we have our Q&A session. Thursday nights, we have some more software explorations. I focus heavily on software explorations because that is what we need. We need to level up our skills. So software explorations, and then we have the morning shows Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, 7:15 a.m. Eastern Time, Coffee and Kata, where we review some news and we do some coding challenges. At the last week, we finished up the rock, paper, scissors challenge. So this week, we are going to get started on the API, or not the API, the AI testing challenge using OpenAI, brought to us by our good friend Don. And with that being said, like for the morning challenges, I'm going to be alternating, right? So like this week, we're going to be doing the AI testing challenge. Next week, we might go into Code Wars, and we'll talk about that later. And then we'll go back to the Chaos Camp AI, just to get some diversity in our challenges, because the Code Wars focuses more on like code and stuff like that, while the Chaos Camp focuses more on QA testing strategies and stuff like that. So that is going to be that's going to be my focus in the mornings. Just I like to do the coding challenges early in the morning so we can hit the ground running when we get to work, so we can be focused. All right. So one more time, our live show Sunday afternoons, software explorations. We are focusing on Terraform. Tuesday nights, Q&A sessions like tonight. Thursday nights, more software explorations. This coming Thursday, I'm going to finish up what we were working on Sunday. I'm going to be going into AWS, setting up Route 53 so it can point at the application that the Tech Barbarians built. Right, so that's going to be what we're working on this coming Thursday. And I'm going to get that scheduled probably by tomorrow. And then we have the morning show Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, 7:15 a.m. Eastern Time, Coffee and Kata, where we do news and coding challenges. All right, so shout out to our live shows, and I love when you guys are here. I get to interact with you guys. So just throwing that out there. Every time I get a message from you guys, I get so excited because I get to interact with you, see what the sentiment is, and how I can continue to add more and more value into your lives. All right, let's jump down into our pre-recorded content. So on Mondays, we have Candid Conversations, one of my favorites, where I just, share what's on my mind, how I think you can continue to level up, how you can get better, what to focus on, that mindset. I think mindset is such a big part of it. I like today I started listening to the David Huberman interview with David Goggins. I think his name is David Huberman, or is it? I think it's Andrew Huberman actually. Andrew Huberman interviewing David Goggins, and so far it is amazing. So like I can't wait to get back to that. So Mondays, Candid Conversations. Wednesdays, Software Explorations, Concepts and Overviews. This coming tomorrow, actually, we are going to be talking about which automation framework to focus on in 2024. Is it Selenium? Is it Cypress? Or is it Playwright? Or is it something totally different, right? So we're going to be going through part one, looking into Playwright, Cypress, and Selenium tomorrow. So that's going to be on tomorrow's episode of Software Explorations. And then Fridays, we have the Bug Bite, where we review different bugs like that happen in the industry, how they affect the companies, things like that. But it's not always limited to bugs. Sometimes it's focused on cybersecurity. 2 weeks ago, or a week and a half ago, we were reviewing the Tesla Optimus Gen 2, and that was very, very fun. People really enjoyed that. So just throwing that out there. So one more time, pre-recorded content, Mondays, Candid Conversations, Wednesdays, Software Explorations, Concept and Overviews, Fridays, the Bug Bite, and then throughout the week, we have clips from this show, Q&A show, where we release that at 3 p.m. That way you have it in small digestible pieces. And then, sometimes we do shorts, sometimes we have additional videos, but that is the main schedule for our pre-recorded content. All right. So shout out to the pre-recorded content. All right. The next thing that I would like you guys to do is check out the Chaos Camp GitHub repo. I use that all the time. That just going through that, it helps my testing skills get so much better. My automation skills get so much better. And I've been doing QA for 15 to 16 years now, automation for 12 years now. And just doing these challenges, especially through the ones that Don created at Chaos Camp, they help me so much. So I would definitely encourage you to go check it out. Just try a challenge, and then you can ask me questions in the chat. It's to help you. Trust me, it's to help you. All right. And then lastly, I would definitely recommend you check out Sock's breakdown of his roadmap into cybersecurity. Definitely helpful, especially a lot of people, they want to get into cybersecurity. Some people are interested in cybersecurity and QA combined. And I think that Socks breaks it down. And to add, right, as of now, our plan is to go do our next cybersecurity Q&A on January 16th, which Sox University, Sox U should be launched by then. So we'll be going through a tour of that on that night, and just let you guys see what it's about, what it offers you, and things like that. So that is the plan for now. But if anything changes, I will definitely let you know. All right. And before I go any further, if you are new to the channel, I want to be able to interact with you. So do me a favor. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you can know every time we go live, every time we drop new content. Like the video, share the video, share with everyone, because there is something here for everyone, and then I still do plan on adding some additional content. I'm still working on that, thinking that through, but so many ideas that I have, you just have to create the time to do it. And lastly, if you haven't done so yet, check out the Patreon at www.techcoachralph.dev, where you can even sign up for a free membership, and then from there you can decide what you want to do. If you want to upgrade to a particular tier, or if you just want to support, whatever it is, I enjoy you being in there. Right. So let me address the chat, and then I will talk about the first topic I want to talk about focus first, and then we will get into our questions. Right. So first and foremost, I want to say good evening and happy New Year to you too, B Peace, and my butt J Dub. Good evening, my brother as well, and my good old pal pal. Haven't seen you in a few days. Sean, good evening to you too. Happy New Year as well. So happy to have you here. What a great way to start the new year. All right. So, and look, I just want to show this real quick, right? Just want to show this. This was my first Lego build, the Infinity Gauntlet, right? And it was fun, but I learned. Ooh, look at that, breaking it already. Circle swimming already. All right, let's put that back on. But yeah, that was the Infinity Gauntlet, my first Lego build. Since I was like 3 years old, right? But it was fun. But I learned that I am not the most patient person when it comes to tiny little pieces. That's probably why I don't do puzzles and stuff like that. Because I was like, all right, I'm kind of getting over this. It was happy. Let's say I was more excited when I was finished with it than while I was doing it. That's just me. That is just me. All right. All right. So we have to stop the show real quick. Because
Good guy.
welcome, good guy. Happy New Year to you too. Like, good guy. He's a good guy. Like, what can I say? Always working hard, always trying to level up. Good guy. I'm just gonna throw one of these in there for you too, because you have been by my side for the longest time.
I appreciate you.
All right. We are in 2024 and we are going to win. We are going to level up this year. That is my promise to you. And Sean has a question, the first question of the night. He says, does each stone represent an automation framework? That is a good question. If we had to break down each stone, right? Let's see. If I had to break down each stone, right? I would say the big one would be like this big one right here. Let me get this. Say this big yellow one right here would probably be QA as a whole, right? And then we could say that I would say that this would be the code that we're testing. This would be the automation framework. See, I'm going to say, so good guy says Java for Redstone. Each stone could be a language. I want it to be more of the software development process, right? So let's say this is QA as a whole. This is the code. This is the application that we're going to be testing, the orange one. Let's say the red one is our automation framework, because I don't want to assign any particular automation framework to it, because some people might like Cypress, some people might like Selenium, some people might like Playwright, and then there's so many others out there. Maybe someone's crazy enough to like unified functional testing. I don't know, right? And then let's say this blue one is our CI/CD pipeline. This is this one right here is our automation code. And then this one is once everything passes and it gets deployed into production. And we have the Infinity Gauntlet of software design, software deployment, all that good stuff, right? So I just totally winged it. I could be off. I might have to revisit that in the future. But that was a great, great question. And J-Dub says, don't snap your fingers. Sometimes all you need is a little snap to get things back into place. All right. So, yep. J-Dub, don't snap your fingers. Sometimes you need to. And good guy says each stone could be a language. Java for Redstone. It could be so many different things, right? But for now, we're gonna go with it is the software development lifecycle where we are looking forward to deploying software. So when you snap, my bad, J-Dub, my bad. All right. But when you snap your finger, the software is deployed and we are good to go. All right. So great question. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to move this over to the other side so that we can see the infinity stone in the background. make sure it doesn't snap. Let's move that right there. All right. So, like I have in the title of the stream, right? I wanted to talk real quick about focus. So we are in a new year. I know a lot of people like to set New Year's resolutions and stuff like that. Um, I I've never been like one that was super crazy about New Year's resolutions and stuff like that because I just I just keep going, right? I see so many people who set New Year's resolutions and then what happens is they within like maybe a month and a half, they totally abandon it and it's like they never said it and I don't so that's why I have never been big on New Year's resolutions, right? I am more I am more like, all right, I just want to continue what I was doing the year before, but I want to do it better. So for instance, last year like end of May, like it's been like 6 months, right? We started this channel and I just been continuously trying to improve, trying to learn the softwares and stuff like that, trying to learn about streaming. How can I add more value into your lives, right? And I can see that it's from learning this past 6 months, right? I have a better understanding, and this year I want to continue to learn. I want to continue to grow. I want to continue to add more enhancements and improvements so that I can add more value. You know, different ideas, different shows, and stuff like that. But it's not like a New Year's resolution for me to like, oh, this is what we're gonna do now because we didn't do it right last year. I think we did it pretty right last year, and now we're going to build. Like, I just like to build on top of it, right? Instead of like, oh, let's just start something totally new because we totally failed last year. I don't think we failed last year, right? There were some, just in general for me, there were some high points, some low points, and everything is a learning experience, and that's what we're going to do, right? So, like I said, I want us to focus. I want us to win, right? And one of the things that I want to be more focused on is the times that I have set. Like I want to use my calendar even more than I do now, right? I want it to be like even more sharper, more accurate, more focused, so that I can maximize my time and be able to do everything that I have set out to do, right? Want to grow the channel. I want to grow the Patreon. I want to get more people to coach so that I can help them level up in their technical skills and all that, right? So that is my focus for this year. And just want to do great things. I want to do cool things, and I want you along for the ride. So that's my thought, my thinking. We are going to work on a bunch of different things. All right. Not this coming Thursday. So one of the things I thought about, right? Not this coming Thursday. Let me know what you think too. Let me know in the chat what you think, right? Not this coming Thursday, but most likely the following Thursday, we are going to kind of do something that I did when we first started the channel, right? But we're gonna shift a little bit, right? So when I first started the channel, we had a video about we did a series about doing Selenium in Java and in Python side by side, same website, right? And I think it was Uber Eats that we did, and we looked at the differences between automating in Selenium and automating in Java for Selenium and automating in Python for Selenium, which one was easier and stuff like that. However, I want to take that same thought, right? We're going to choose a different website, and we are going to do Selenium, Cypress, and Python, right? And we can see like, all right, which one is harder to get into, which one is faster to run, and we can have the same website. We're going to set up all three automation frameworks, right? So that we can have a good idea and a good understanding of what is going to how it works, because in that way we get to learn all three frameworks, right? And we get to get a little bit more comfortable with each of them. We get to do a project, and it's something that you can show. So so many learning opportunities, so many things we can do. So that is what we are going to do, most likely starting next week. All right. So, that's what I mean by focus. I want us to be super focused, super dialed in. You know, especially for the coaching group, right? I don't want it to be where we set a goal, right? And then we just totally ignore the goal because we had other stuff to do. No, if you set a goal, we need to go out there and we need to achieve it, right? We want to fail forward. Like I don't want us to be moving backwards. We say, oh, I'm gonna get this done by, let's say, March. Then we need to get it done by March, right? Or at least get a lot closer to the end than being closer to the beginning, right? I don't even want to halfway. I want to get I would like to ideally get to 100%. But if it's a 75% that you get to your goal, I'd rather that instead of like getting to 25% or quitting altogether, right? You say that you have things that you want to accomplish, that you want to do. Time is ticking. Time is ticking. That time is something that you cannot get back. And that's why I always urge you to use your calendars. Use that time cost calculator that I have set up so you can see how much each hour of your time is worth. And when you are lollygagging around, wasting time, you can actually see that it is not to your benefit. All right. So the goal for 2024 is focus and growth. And you can only have growth if you are focused, if you are consistent. Schedule the times that you study, schedule the times that you eat, schedule the times that you sleep, schedule the time that you hang out with your significant others, all that, right? Focus. The goal is focus. That's my goal for 2024, right? It was my goal for 2023, but I think I can do it better in 2024. And I urge you to join me along that journey to be focused so that we can win. All right. That's what I have for you, right? And Sean has a very, very good insight here. Sean says, schedule life around order. Thank you, Sean. That you took my long rant and put it into 4 simple words. Schedule life around order. Thank you. That I appreciate that. All right. All right. We are going to jump into the show now. But before we do that, let's get us some energy.
Please offer me your energy. I ask of you, please.
All right. So, you know how we do. We will hear this sound.
Another one.
When we are going to our next question. All right. So, are we ready to get started? I'm ready to get started. But first, before Good Guy gets on me, I'm gonna try this in 2024. Good Guy to be better on the clock. So, clock is up. We are going to put our 5 minutes up, and we're going to start our first question.
Another one.
So this one says, transitioning to QA engineer this 2024. Hi. Currently working as a PM. That would either be a project manager or a product manager. But let's take it as project manager, right? So currently working as a PM in a startup software development team. I have a computer science degree, but I don't have much background in programming. That's interesting. I can code a little bit, but just basics of HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. I'm currently learning Python and doing UI automation tests on our app. I really want to be more technical as I find solving problems in applications fun. I will do my best to learn so much this year about the necessary skills to be a QA engineer. I hope I will make it. I'll update you again before the end of the year. Let's go get it. So let's start our clock. I'm going to say this, right? I love the sentiment of this question. And like, I always wonder why people want to go into QA, right? Because I enjoy QA, but it is a lot of hard work. It is a lot of following up after developers, trying to make sure that you have enough time to test, trying to, like, for me at least, I like to work closely with the scrum masters, with the product with the product owner slash product managers and stuff like that, to make sure that we are in line to meet our goals, or that we are our commitments are on track and stuff like that, and to make sure that the process is moving along smoothly. And to make sure, like, if there are any risks, like, let's say we're not getting let's say the development story that we're supposed to be testing is not becoming ready on time, so we have to raise a red flag, notify, like, if we need more time and stuff like that, right? So I always wonder, like, do people know what they're getting into when they want to go into QA? With that being said, if you are looking to go into QA, right, I would say that my number one recommendation for anyone who is looking to go into QA or software development, software engineering, cyber, like anything that you want to go into, right? If you are by any chance already working at a company, especially in the IT industry, do not quit your job, right? And this is what I told to this person, right? Do not quit your job. Because when you try to go outside of your current company to try to find, like, let's say you're working as a PM, right? And now they either quit or they try to look for another position at another company for QA when they don't have any QA experience. It is so hard, right? So what I normally recommend is that try to transition within your own company, volunteer within your own company to work with the QA team while you're still doing an amazing job at your current position, right? Because one thing that's going to annoy people at your company is if you show a lack of interest in your current position because you want to be in another position, so you do a crappy job, right? You need to do an amazing job. So that means you're going to have to put in some more hours so you can ramp up your skills so that you can hopefully transition within your own company, right? Because they'll be more gracious with you. They'll be more flexible. They can give you things to work on while you're still doing an amazing job in your current role as a PM or whatever it might be, right? Like the company that I work for, there's been people who've been in support and they've been able to transition over to QA or to Scrum Masters and stuff like that. But you want to, number one, do an amazing job because all eyes will be on you, and you want to be able to put in extra time so you can learn what you need to learn, right? For this person in particular, I think it's amazing that they are already doing some automation and that they're doing some UI automated tests. They have the basics of HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. I would recommend, right, especially going into QA automation, where you're testing, like, because most people when they go into QA and automation, they're going to be like using either Selenium, Cypress, Playwright, and they're going to be testing on sites using selectors. I would recommend that you take a web development course, right? You can get it for cheap on Udemy, right? Take a like a full stack course. Learn about databases, right? Learn about HTML. Learn about CSS, JavaScript, Node, all that stuff, right? Why do I recommend that? So the reason that I recommend that is because it will make your testing knowledge better, so you know what you're looking at a lot better. Can you do without it? Of course, yes, you can. However, it helps, like, if you can troubleshoot effectively and you can give insight into developers, they will appreciate you, right? Because you're not just you're not just finding a bug and just throwing it over the wall. You're saying, okay, let me investigate. Let me use the developer tools to see, like, why is this issue happening? What is the console telling me? Is it a React error? Is it a JavaScript error? Is it the CSS that's off, right? And you can investigate and everything like that. Not to mention, learning a skill like web development, full stack development, stuff like that, not only does it make your QA better, right? Then you also pick up on another skill that you can always like, build your own projects. Because maybe one day you might want to transition into doing like web development or something, or you might want to freelance or something like that, right? I think that those are like, you definitely want to focus on enhancing your technical skills if you want to be going to QA. I think a lot of people go into QA thinking that, oh, I don't have to be super technical and stuff like that. But when you hold yourself back by not picking up on these technical skills, and I think that it would be imperative for you to pick up on these skills, learn how to code, right? So that it can, not only does it make your automation skills better, it makes your critical thinking skills better as well, and you have a different perspective as a developer, so you know what to look for, how to test effectively, but you also know the things that they're doing as well. So is it easy to get into? No, it's a lot of work, but it is very well worth it. And those skills can be very, very portable and stuff like that, right? So that is what I would highly recommend if you are finding yourself wanting to get into becoming a QA engineer and you find yourself in the same situation as this person. Number one, don't quit your job. Try to get close with the QA team so that you can work with them, and then that they can help you grow, and they can, you're going to have to put in some extra hours so that you can learn and continue to get better and, level up your, like, I don't want you to just have basic skills in HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. I want you to become not necessarily an expert, but close to it, maybe intermediate level. I just wanted you to be more dangerous than just having the basic skills. All right. So that is my suggestion for you. All right. So let's wrap that one up. All right. J Dub says, so let's do this.
Another one.
What's a low level IT role to start out in, and what qualifications would you need? All right. So I'll say when I started in the tech field, so I started off in technical support, right? I was doing technical support for a web hosting company, and pretty much I would answer calls and help customers. There was a variety of things, right? So it would either, like, let's say they're a new customer, I'd help them set up their DNS to have their website name, their domain name point over to our web hosting platform. I would help them set up their emails. I would help them troubleshoot whatever issues that they might be having. Some customers were like a little bit more advanced, where they would have to set up like MX records or A records or CNAME and stuff like that, right? So that is to me, like, that's kind of low level, because they take you through training and stuff like that. But also because there were some people who started off in customer service as well, who were like handling billing and stuff like that, and then they were able to transition over to technical support as well, right? So if you are able to get to I don't need the clock for this one. If you're able to get to at least like to a tech company, right? Then you're always able to get close with the people in there and looking forward to transition and stuff like that. And it doesn't have to be a tech company in particular, right? Because even in like healthcare and stuff like that, if you were to, like, let's say you're working in a healthcare field or whatever field that you might be working in, if there's an IT department there, you can always, networking and talk to them, say, hey, like, it's all like, there's a big component of networking as well. Right? It's like, and that's why I always tell people, if you're in a position, then you want to be able to reach out to the people who are in those positions, so that you say, hey, I'm interested in this. Like, what would it take for me to be able to work in this department, whether it's, maybe it's tech support, or maybe it's the help desk. Help desk is somewhat of a starting out role as well. It just depends, because there might be the help desk who helps support the tech for the company and stuff like that. So I'd say tech support, help desk, things like that. Sometimes even customer service. To me, it's like, I would also focus on getting into a company that has an IT department, which pretty much all companies do now. But some IT departments are a lot smaller than others. But I would say focus on that, right? Get into a company and network with the tech people, with the IT team, and once you actually get that position in tech, then you can start to leverage those connections and see, okay, what do I need to learn? Where do I want to go from here? So many people, to me, one of the biggest problems is that so many people, they don't have a way in, and so they don't know what they actually need to learn. But connecting with the right people, getting a job in a tech field or tech adjacent field, then you can start saying, okay, now this is the pathway that I'm going to build, and this is what I need to focus on learning. And in that way, you also have a mentor in that field as well, in that company as well. One of the questions that I learned from the book Never Split Difference is like when getting like during an interview, but you can also do this like when you are on the job, where you ask the person, what would it take for me to be successful here, right? And that way they're giving you the blueprint, and they're kind of like becoming your mentor in these strategies for success at that company in that position. Because you follow that advice, then it's just going to take you to the next step, right? So that's what I would say would be the low level IT roles. Qualifications, it depends on the role, right? It just depends on the role. You might need to know some if it's like a help desk, you might need to know some Windows stuff, maybe have some type of Windows certifications. I would say, J-Dub, that the number one thing that you want to do is we'd have to research those different roles, right? And based off that research, then we can see, okay, what do I need? Any particular certifications? Do I need to take any particular courses? And that way you can build a blueprint and see, okay, what exactly do I need to do for I can get into this particular type of role? And maybe while I'm doing getting those qualifications, maybe I can work in a company that is where I might not be in the IT department yet, but I do have a pathway into the IT department, right? So that's what I would say, based on my past, based on my experience, based on how I would strategize as well to get into there, right? So hopefully that helps, and hopefully that answers your question. All right, we are going to go to our next question.
Another one.
So this one's going to be a good one, all right? It says, Mayday, Mayday, help, urgent. I accidentally got a job as an IT admin in an office last month. That reminds me of an Eminem song, but I am not going to say the lyrics, but it went something like, it was a song, Guilty Conscience, actually. It's like, how do you accidentally get a job as an IT admin? Like, is it something like you were just like walking, and then they confused you for someone who was interviewing, and they say, "Oh, you know what? You were able to interview well. You got the job, right?" So I don't know. That's going to be interesting. But let's read it, right? It says, "Hi guys, I got a job as an IT admin, and in the beginning, it was just setting up computers, installing Windows, Microsoft Office, wrestling with printers, pretty basic stuff in a new company. All of a sudden, now they want me to set up company email domain servers and stuff in a new office from scratch. I don't know what I need to do. I don't know what to do. I need this job. I need the money. I am already trying to learn on YouTube. Please suggest what items to procure, like Cat 6 cables, punching tools, biometric attendance systems, switches, routers, etc. Also, Suggest any online courses where I can learn and get the wheels turning. I have 1 week to set up the office. Let's get the timer up. So, this might be a fast one because you, my friend, are screwed, right? Unless you are able to outsource it and find somebody to do it for you. But setting up email domain servers is no easy task, especially from scratch, right? I think it depends on the requirements of the company as well. If it's totally up to you, I'll say what I would do, right? What I would do is, and it depends on the budgeting and stuff like that, right? But if I was in this position, I would probably maybe use Google Business, right? And the thing is, when you are in this position, you get to offer a strong voice of influence because if you're the only person, I'd probably say let's go with let's use Google Business, right? Where we're gonna set up the domain and pretty much have everything run through Google, and then you can download Microsoft Outlook or whatever, or you can just use it through Google, and you would be able to set up your emails that way. I'm not sure with you having to. Well, actually, no. Because if you have to set up a email domain, domain setup company email domain servers from scratch. Well, I mean, you can steer the conversation, right? Because a lot of companies are using Office 365 to manage their emails as well. Why? Depending on what your company's needs are, if it's like something super secure and they want to have like Exchange servers on site and stuff like that, you might be out of luck. But depending on like if it's a small company and stuff like that, that sounds like it might be a lot of overhead, and I'm not entirely sure what the like getting Cat 6 cables, punching tools, biometric attendance systems, and all that is necessary for if you're setting up email domain servers, right? I don't know. It sounds like you are in way over your head, and the fact that you accidentally got that job, I don't know if it's more about you or if it's more about the company, right? who couldn't see that you didn't know what the hell you were doing. So that's going to be a very, very interesting topic. And J-Dub, this is what it means to be in over your head, right? So it's kind of crazy that this person would find themselves in this situation. If it was up to me, I would strongly push like, hey, let's either use Office 365 or we can use Google for Business and set up domain that way and just manage everything through Google. If you want to have a email client, download Outlook, download Thunderbird, whatever the case may be, and set it up that way. But to go and it's just so easier now to have it managed in the cloud instead of trying to set up these, like, that's so primitive, you know. So maybe there's some security reason that they have to do it. I don't know, but I would especially if I find myself in this situation, and just because, you know, when people say I need this job, that doesn't mean anything to me, right? Because if you really needed it, you would have, like, if you really needed a job, not necessarily this job, you would have qualified for it, and you wouldn't have to lie and cheat to get there, because now you end up in the situation and you are trying to figure out what type of tools you need in order to be successful on in this job. And it's you're you know, what it sounds to me like is
I'm in a bind, Nate.
that's what it sounds like. And you know, you did it to yourself, right? Like I would say try to set it up through a easier route, which might buy you some time, but at the end of the day, you did it to yourself, and you don't really deserve any sympathy. Like, there's no possible way that people accidentally get a job, right? No one accidentally gets a job. the help isn't urgent. I'm just answering this because it's a cool thing to answer. But you messed up. You messed up. And now,
One more thing. Price of the brick going up.
that's where you find yourself. All right. So sucks that you're in a bind and the price of the brick is going to go up, but it is what it is. And that is why I always say that you should not lie on your resume. You shouldn't lie in the interview, right? If you don't know, then you don't know, because now you get stuck in this position and it sucks, right? It sucks. So with that being said, I wish I don't, but all right. And J Dub says he appreciates the info, and I
appreciate you.
I appreciate you too, right? Like I appreciate you asking, because that was a very, very good question, and I'm happy I was able to give some insight from my personal experiences as well. So, and reach out to me, send me a message, email me. You can email me at ralph@techcoachingwithralph.com, and we can see what we can do. Maybe help you look to get a foot in the door. Because to me, the most important thing is getting that foot in the door. It's so hard, and that's why I tell some I normally tell when I'm trying to pick people for coaching, it's like it's so much easier to have them in a job already, and then we can strategize from there. Because it's so hard when you're outside looking in and trying to break in. Breaking into the industry is not easy. It's kind of closed, but it's not impossible, right? And that's why I'm here, because I know it's not impossible, and I am trying to offer whatever type of insight that I can provide. All right. So with that being said, let's take a quick break real quick, right? And the break is to say, if you are watching, if you're enjoying the show, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Drop me a message in the chat. I would love to hear from you. Leave me a comment on the video, whatever it is, right? And hit the notification bell. So subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, like the video, share the video, check out the Patreon at www.techcoachralph.dev. See all the cool stuff that we have going on in there. This coming Thursday, I am going to be setting up Raw 53 to deploy, or not to deploy, because it's already deployed. We got the deployment done on Sunday using AWS Elastic Beanstalk and AWS Code Pipeline. Now we are going to set up our domain name, which is going to be poopypants.techcoachralph.dev, and point that to our application, so you can see the amazing work that my tech barbarians did. And with my new tech barbarians, I'm going to bring them in, and we are going to continue to enhance our software, and we're going to be using databases and stuff like that. So the way that I coach is through building real world experience, so that you can get familiar with Jira, so you can get familiar with the agile methodologies, with Scrum and stand-ups and giving updates and all that stuff, the sprint reviews, retrospectives, planning. We're actually working through sprints. That's how I like to work, because getting that experience is going to be so valuable to you, so that once you actually land that job, you can hit the ground running. All right. So just wanted to throw that in there, let you guys know that so many things happening, and I just want you to level up with me. All right. So with that being said, get a drink of water. All right. The next one, let's get to it.
Another one.
Stuck in limbo on QA job. That sucks. So I'm a college student for a bachelor's degree in IT. In the spring of 2022, I started a QA internship without knowing what QA really was. And I would say that is what most interns and most recent college graduates face. They end up getting a QA job and they have absolutely no idea what QA really is. I was trained for about 2 weeks and then was put to work. I picked up on QA fast and actually outlasted all the other interns. I ended up working for a company for a little over a year until back in June of this year, which would be 2023, not 2024. Me and all other QA employees were let go. Oh, that sucks. This definitely stung, but I was grateful for the opportunity that I was given, and I figured I could get another internship part-time gig somewhat quickly. Well, wrong. If you're there for about a year, right? I wonder if you're still in college and that's why you're looking for another internship or part-time gig. But I'll tell you this, right? Getting part-time QA work, it's not common because, I'll get to that in the way, right? So let's keep going. Well, boy, was I wrong. I have applied for 6 months and have had no luck whatsoever. I've branched way out of QA and still have no luck. Besides my ranting, I guess my question is the market slow currently? There haven't been very many listings for QA intern part-time. I have experience with test script creation, manual testing, regression testing, Jira, ClickUp, not sure what ClickUp is, and Agile, all of which I list on my resume. With these skills, I thought I would have found something by now. I've driven myself crazy looking for a job. I stay away from full-time gigs because I can't do 40 hours. I was doing 29 hours per week max, and that was a lot. So I think the biggest problem is that we don't have our clock up. Okay, so timer up, right? I think the biggest problem is that you're not going to really find any part-time QA positions, right? QA is a full-time job. It's more than a full-time job because it is a salaried job. It is a job where you are going to, you might be on call. You might be working over the weekends. You might be working late because every company has their processes when they deploy and stuff like that. So if you are not able to be available, right, then what good are you? To be frank, right? And that company that you were at, like because you were a good employee or a decent employee and you were learning QA, they were flexible with you, allowing you to work 29 hours and stuff like that. But now trying to find now trying to go outside, company, all right, let's be honest here, right? Companies do not owe you anything. They do not. Like at the end of the day, the company's priority is the company, right? Their bottom line. The reason that companies offer all these benefits and stuff like that is because they want their employees to, number one, stay because retention is very important. But the reason for the benefits is because it is in their best interest so that the employees do a decent job, right? But if they don't know you from Adam, no company is required to bring you in and stuff like that. And then on top of that, you have demands. You're like, oh, I can't work 40 hours. And trust me, like working in IT, you work more than 40 hours, right? Just throwing that out there. If you thought you were going to come into IT and then you're just going to have work 30, 35 hours and then you go about your business, it doesn't work that way because there's deployments that need to happen. There's things that need to be tested. There's bugs. There's on-call shifts. There's things that go things that do this, right? In the middle of the night, right? In the middle of the night, things go boom, and then you need to figure out what's going on. So is it like that all the time? No. But you need to have the expectation that things happen, and you might have to be available. You're gonna have to be a team player, and not so in addition to not being able to work full time, right? And why, if you already had an internship, right, doing QA, why would a company necessarily want to give you another internship, a different company give you another internship? Okay, because internships are not full-time jobs. They're to gain experience as in different fields, in different roles, like that. So if they see that you've been an intern before, why would they necessarily want to give you another internship? And part-time positions don't have it either. Even when people intern, right? Because usually they'll be interning over the summer or something like that. So they'll be working full-time as an intern, right? So that's why I don't understand the idea of like trying to like, I don't know where you'd find a part-time. Maybe you can look on Upwork or something like that. But finding a part-time QA job is just not something that's going to exist. A lot of companies like they would rather their development teams be salaried, because when they are salaried, it becomes a job basis role, and it's about getting the job done and not necessarily clocking in and clocking out and stuff like that. I do not remember the last time I've actually had to clock in or clock out. I really don't remember the last time I clocked in or clocked out, right? Because it's just not it's not what the job is. So the other thing I'd say is, in addition to you not being able to work like a full-time job, because trust me, a full-time is calling it full-time gig. It's not a gig, it's a job, right? It is a career, it is a job. But I would say that, and I know people who work like 2 to 3 full-time jobs, right? So like, give me a break here. If it's because of school, like manage your calendar, right? Focus. The theme of this year is focus, all right? But I would also pause and say your resume probably sucks, right? Honestly, the resume probably sucks. You probably don't have it listed out well. You're probably not listing any of the reasons that someone would want to work with you, any of your accomplishments, any of your accolades and stuff like that. It's just probably like, it's probably exactly as it says here, right? I wrote test scripts. I did manual testing. I did regression testing. I know Jira. I know Agile. So the resume probably sucks as well. So I would definitely say you would want to revamp that resume, just from based on most technical resumes that I see, they usually suck, right? But those are the two things that are working against you. Not being able to work full-time, more than full-time, right? Because that's what tech needs. They need full-time employees. They don't need part-time employees, right? And I would say your resume is probably not that great. Being not only because you don't have that much experience, but because that's how most technical resumes end up turning out. All right. So just wanted to throw that out there. Alrighty then. We are ready to move to our next question.
Another one.
This one says, how are you handling? So I'm in my 4th year career path being a QA. I recently changed companies and joined a new team. I like to work on a new product and learn new things, but I am getting a bit annoyed and frustrated, and I've had it. I kind of added a little bit to it. Getting a bit annoyed by developers' ignorance about the quality or investigating things properly in order to make them functional. For example, we have a developer who fixes one thing, and based on that fix, we came across 5 new bugs. It's like a curse. You can retest a ticket from this person over and over and over again, like Groundhog Day testing this person's tickets. All of the testers notice that, but I am obviously the one who doesn't have patience anymore. How do you handle such cases in order that it doesn't influence your mood and motivation for work? Alrighty then. So I will say that I have been in similar positions in the past. And as a QA engineer, I had to, so there's a few things that I've done in the past in these situations, right? I don't know if I'd say this is the first thing, but one of the things that I've done is one of the things that I've done is set up processes in place, right? So as the person who was responsible for QA on the team, right? I had to analyze the situation that's happening and say, okay, this is the situation that we're in. What is the best way that we can prevent this, right? So one thing was, in addition to like speaking to the developer and stuff like that, but I also had to talk to the scrum master, to the product owner and stuff like that to say, okay, what mechanisms can we put in place that will reduce the amount of finding regression bugs from retesting after a developer would implement a fix, right? Because I'll tell you this, I've had this in the past where the story is, all right, we need to implement some type of login thing, right? Like some login feature. And then when you get the feature to test and you click login, it takes you to a blank page, right? It's like, oh, it was a React error and stuff like that. So then now they fix that, and then now right after you get past that blank page and something else doesn't work, right? And it's like, okay, are the developers actually testing? Are they doing dev testing before they provide it over to for QA, right? Because like I say, QA's goal shouldn't be able to find a bunch of bugs. It should be able to validate that the software is working as expected. So in order to do that, the developers need to do a good job. So what I would say is for someone in your position, right? And this also gives you a great opportunity to take command of the QA team and, provide guidance and insight on how to be to the developers on how to work properly with QA, right? So what I would say is you need to put some processes in place, right? For say we are not going to test this, right? The QA team is not going to test this if, number one, there are no unit tests, right? Because for you to have this amount of issues happening, it sounds like there are not proper unit test coverage being done by the developers, right? So QA is not testing this if there aren't any unit tests, right? That's the number one thing. Like you can be part of the code reviews and you can go straight into looking for the unit tests in the code review. If there are no unit tests, then QA is not going to we're not going to even try to start testing this application. We will fail QA right away because unit tests are essential. They are required, right? And they're lucky you don't force them to do test-driven development, right? But if there are no unit tests, then we're not testing it. It does not pass QA without unit tests. That's number one, right? That would be the first thing that I would recommend you to do, right? The second thing, right, is you need to have automated tests. Required. You need to have automated tests because especially if the developers are just throwing stuff over the wall and you can't be confident in the work that they're doing, you can't just be manually testing stuff over and over and over again, right? So you need to start creating automated tests of the core features and stuff like that so that you can run those regression tests. So when they do fix something, you trigger the test and then that you can see that things are still working, right? So you need to add automated tests, right? So number one, unit tests, you require developers to write unit tests. If there are no unit tests, and you're a part of the code review, if there's no unit tests, QA fails, period, right? So come back with unit tests, and then we can start testing. Number two, get your automated regression test running, so that once changes are done, that they can you can run those, right? But number three, what I would also recommend is that you need to set up branch-based testing so that those automated tests can run on the particular branch or they can run locally on that developer's computer. And number four, right? So number one, you have to make sure that they're writing unit tests, right? It's not optional, right? Number two, set up automated tests. Number three, branch-based testing so you can run the unit test on that branch. But number four, make it available so that the developers can run regression tests on their fixes on their changes so that if the regression tests fail, they can't even send it back to you, right? So, and to me, that is part of being a QA engineer, right? That is part of being a QA engineer, is to put systems in place so that you can simplify testing, right? You can do more with less. You can simplify testing, and you can make sure that the developers, before they throw stuff over the wall, that they actually test their work in multiple different ways, through unit testing, through dev testing, through running the automated regression test that the QA team writes as well, so that they can say, okay, everything is passing. Now we're able to get like, and guess what? Once they develop their code, their stuff too, right? They can also run the regression test before they even send it to QA in the first place. So now QA can focus on testing the actual specific story. They don't have to go all over the place running around like a chicken with their head cut off. All right. So that is my recommendation for the situation that you're in. Do not get annoyed. Everything is an opportunity for growth, and it's going to help you more than anybody else, right? Because this is a perfect learning opportunity, and it is going to excel you. It is going to put you in a leadership position, because if the other QA people are not getting annoyed by it, then that means they don't care. The fact that you're getting annoyed by it, that shows that you care about the quality, and I want you to lead the effort so that you can take the QA team to the next level, and you can take your developers to the next level as well. Require unit tests, write automation tests, do branch-based testing, and set up a way so that the developers can run the regression tests on their own, so they do not waste your time and waste the company's time, and most importantly, they do not waste the customer's time. All right, we have to get to market as soon as possible, and having the right testing protocols in place will allow that to happen. All right. That was a great question, I must say. That was a great question. Love it. All right, let's see where we're at. So we are going to request, if there is anybody who is new to the channel who is watching tonight and you are enjoying this amazing Q&A show, this amazing content, this amazing talk on being focused for the year of 2024 and to be focused on growth, then do me a favor, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you can know every single time we go live, like the video, share the video with everyone. Check out the Patreon at www.techcoachralph.dev. You can definitely sign up for free, and then from there, you can see if there is a plan or a tier that interests you, and we can grow together from there. Because I'm looking to grow too. I'm looking for you to grow. I'm looking for both of us to be focused, and the sky is the limit, as Biggie said. All right. So with that being said, we are moving on to our next question.
Another one.
How can I up my skills to become a software development engineer in test? I'm currently working as a QA automation engineer. I know some people may use the term SDET/QA automation interchangeably. I have 4 years experience in automation, and I want to get more technical because I know SDETs can be considered more of a specialized skill. Looking for some guidance where to begin. That is an amazing question. So I love to see when people are already in QA and they are looking to level up their skills, right? Like I was saying, let's start the clock. One of my latest tech barbarians, they are in QA already, and I am so excited to work with them because we are going to go to the moon, right? I already sent them like the course to start on, and we're going to be working very closely together in order so that we can strategically maneuver, because like it's just so much easier once you're already in the industry, and then we can strategize from there, right? So we're going to go like straight up, right? So, and the reason I mentioned that is because, like, reading this person's story right here, they're a QA automation engineer. They have the skills, right? But they want more. They want more, and I love to see people wanting to do more, wanting to grow. They do not become stagnant, right? So, with 4 years of experience in QA automation, that's amazing. The thing with SDET, right? And I have like some knowledge of SDET, but it's not my forte. I'm more on the QA automation side, right? The QA engineering side. I don't even like to say QA automation engineer. I'm more of a QA engineer because I engineer like quality solutions, right? So I might figure out like metric stuff. I might figure out like CI/CD type stuff, and I might be very close to. I might be as I don't know, right? But I know that your coding skills for like, and this is like from talking with Andrew and Don and stuff like that. I know that your coding skills need to be very, very well, because guess what? As an SDET, you are a software developer, right? You are a software engineer, but you focus on testing. So you should be able to write code like to build software, right? You should be able to go back and forth between writing the code to build the software or writing it for tests, right? That to me, that's the difference between an SDET and a QA engineer, right? Your coding skills should be the same as a software engineer, right? Because you are a software engineer. You're just focusing your software engineering on test and on building testing solutions. But and that's how I see it, right? That's how I differentiate the two. Is SDETs are just software engineers, and QA engineers are people who are focused solely on orchestrating quality solutions, right? Like they don't need to have the best coding skills. Like they don't need to be able to create a software from scratch or anything like that. But they need to be very adept. They need to have the best critical thinking skills. They need to be able to navigate like QA strategies and stuff like that. QA engineers are the ones who are working like building the test plans, the strategy, the risk and stuff like that. And in my eyes, while the SDETs are the ones who are orchestrating, I would say, they're orchestrating the not necessarily like they might be producing the code in order to support QA engineers, manual testers, QA testers, whatever, right? So what do you need to level up your skills to become an SDET? So I would say, I would say I'm going to give a couple of things out there, right? Number one, I always go back to Chaos Camp, right? Go with Chaos Camp, do some of those coding challenges and those QA challenges and stuff like that, right? That is going to help your critical thinking skills, help you figure out like different ways to maneuver. It's amazing over there, right? But in addition to Chaos Camp, right? I have like I'm going to get into this year, but I've heard from the testing lead about lead code. I've heard from other people as well. We've spoken about lead code before. I looked at the site the other day. So lead code is probably a good site to get into. But number one, as always, Chaos Camp. I will always support my brother Don. But then also you might want to check out lead code, right? Because it has some challenges that apparently a lot of SDETs use. I know the testing lead talks about that all the time. So that might be that would be another good one. But one that we are also going to be getting into next week on the morning shows is Code Wars, right? Because that one is going to be more specific to coding languages challenges, right? Like, doing kata on particular coding languages. So that way we can get into JavaScript, we can get into TypeScript, we can get into Python, we can get into Java, we can get into SQL. So many different coding languages that we can practice on, which I think as an SDET, knowing about algorithms, databases, stuff like that, it is going to help you build your applications to support QA engineers, to support manual QA, to support QA testers. So I think that those are the things that you're going to want to focus on. So one more time, Chaos Camp. That's always going to be my number one, regardless. Chaos Camp, number one. Then you might want to look into lead code and then you'd want to look into Code Wars, you can definitely join me in the mornings of Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 7:15 a.m. as we get into as we do these coding challenges to wake up our mind so we can. And the number one reason that I like to do these in the morning, right, before I actually start work, is because it wakes up my mind. So when I get to work, I'm not wasting the first 2 hours of the day. I am ready to work, ready to roll. My mind is sharp. And that's what I encourage you guys to be, is to be sharp, be focused on work. So not only that you can grow in your personal life, you can grow at work as well. And you can continue to win. You can continue to level up, right? So one more time, Chaos Camp, Lead Code, Code Wars, level up your skills so that you can be able to interview like a king, interview like a queen, right? You can be ready, right? And to be ready, you have to level up your skills. In addition to some other stuff like practicing interviewing, having the right resume, but the number one step is to have the qualifying skills. I was talking to Tam from Women in Linux about this in the Discord. Your skills need to be on par. A lot of times people don't get the position because they do not have the skills, right? So that is what my thoughts are on you transitioning from a QA engineer to an SDET. I think that deserves a round of applause. Because anytime that you go for growth, I celebrate you, all right? All right. Let's get some water here. All right. So the next one, I wanted to review an article. So let's do this.
Another one.
So it says, should QA engineers write automated tests? And this is based on an article. I did not read the article yet because I wanted to read it together with you. And it says, so the person who wrote the article says, I share my thoughts on why QA engineers should write automated tests. I thought they wrote automated tests by default, but that's why I was intrigued to read this together with you. Happy to get your thoughts from other industry leaders on why we need to delve more into automation space, right? So that's going to be interesting because I don't know QA. I don't know any QA engineers who don't write tests. I don't think there's something such as a manual QA engineer, but we shall find out, right? So what I'm going to do, I am going to share the. Oh, wait 1 second. We have D in the chat. It says, good night, peeps.
I appreciate you.
Welcome to the show, D. All right. So we are going to jump into this article. Let me put the timer up, although I don't know how long this article is going to be, right? But let's do that. Let's go to. All right. So the article says, should QA engineers write tests? And it says most def. And this is by Tinashe, written December 29th, 2023. So this is about a 3-minute read. So let's see. And I will give my feedback and comment throughout, right? So following my previous article on why developers should write unit tests, I don't know, this is interesting that this would actually be an article. But okay. Anyways, I'm back advocating for why QA engineers should write automated tests as well. Some may be wondering, if the developers are writing unit tests, why should QA be burdened with writing code as well? Well, read on. So just reading for this first paragraph, right? I'm wondering if this person is really, really new to the field, because I think only if you are brand new to the field, you might be wondering this, right? But with the right amount of experience, then there's no question about it. Why, what the difference between unit tests that developers write and what the automation tests that QA writes, right? In all my companies, developers have written unit tests, and I've been responsible for the automated test. So I don't know. Let's read. Let's read on, right? So I'll build upon the registration and login workflow example and highlight how automated tests benefit not only the product team, but the QA themselves. Okay. To those that have been in testing, how many times has a change been implemented and you've had to test for hours on end every other feature to make sure nothing was broken? Regression, anyone? Maybe like 12 years ago, maybe, I don't know. But yeah. Or better yet, a single change broke some unrelated use case, and because you're not certain of the impact, you end up retesting the entire test suite to get the comfort that all other services are functional. If you've been through this or are in these trenches, it's high time you start the automation journey. So yeah, like I said, right? It seems like this person is either new to development, new to testing, because like I've been doing this for like the past 10 years now, you know? So I don't know. This is interesting, right? So the starting point has to be two-pronged. The developers working on the unit test and QA building out the end-to-end test suite. The test pyramid is a good guide as to how to structure the test. If you are overwhelmed, my recommendation is to map out the most common use cases, the features that, if not functional, you will not have a product. With those in tow, hasten to automate these, even if it's the happy path only. I totally agree with that. So as QA engineers, we bring a lot of value regarding ensuring the product works end to end. Developers rarely have leeway to write integration tests as well as functional tests. If the product has a backend that exposes functionality via APIs consumed by a front end, the ideal starting point would be to write integration tests on the API layer. Totally agree with that. The beauty of these tests is that they give you, as the QA, an in-depth understanding of the product. Imagine knowing the process workflow for registration and login, including the endpoints invoked when. Okay. All right. When a part of the process breaks, you can easily pinpoint the fault and direct developers there. Your bug reports will be more succinct and help the team fix issues quickly. Agreed. Once the API layer is automated, one can pick up the UI-related use cases. Building on top of the automated APIs, the combination of the two suites will help you quickly isolate failures. For example, if your registration flow use cases fails for the UI test but passes for the API test, you can isolate the issue to be on the front end. A quick comparison of the cause between the UI and the API test will help you identify which part is problematic. I can promise you developers will love such bugs. Definitely they will. Well articulated and pointing the light to where the issues lies. To close off, by embracing automation, QA engineers fortify their role as champions of product quality, coupled with faster identification of issues, succinct bug reports, and in-depth understanding of the inner workings of the product. QA becomes an invaluable cog in the product development team. In my next article, we will delve into the nitty-gritty with a concrete example. Happy automation, and stay tuned for part 2. So, and this article comes from the CTO, Chief Testing Officer. Pretty cool site, I must say. I like the name of the website. However, or the name of the blog. However, I think the premise of the article of should QA engineers write automated tests, I don't think that's a valid question because I don't think you are a QA engineer if you don't write automated tests, right? Because you need to innovate. To me, as a QA engineer, you need to innovate, right? It's simple as that. You need to be able to make the testing process better. To put it simple, right? So we'll go back. I agree with everything that's said in the article. I just don't understand like how. I think everybody in QA, right, should be working towards automation and not only some people they get so stuck on manual QA and stuff like that, and it doesn't help, right? So, like I said, this year is about focus and growth, right? So I think it's a great article. I think that the points being made are good and they're valid. I just don't see. I guess the title of the article is the part that throws me off of like, should QA engineers write automated tests? I just don't think I just don't think you're a QA engineer if you do not write automated tests, right? So, but that's just me. Maybe I don't know. That's just me. Let me know what you think, right? Let me know in the comments. Let me know in the chat. What do you think? Am I off? Does this article make sense, or is the author a bit off on the question that they ask? Because is it like, well, you're not a QA engineer if you do not write automated tests, all right? So let me know what you think, all right? Alrighty then. So we are down to our last two questions of the night. So before we go any further, I just want to remind you, we will be live tomorrow morning, 7:15 a.m. Eastern time, where we're going to be we're going to be getting into our news stories, of course, but we're also going to be getting into starting off the testing AI with the open, using the Chaos Camp Challenge for open AI, all right? We're going to be like thinking through how we would test AI, right? So that's what we're going to be doing in the morning. A great way to start our days, to stimulate our minds. It's interesting because like Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, I'm doing the morning show, waking up myself so I can get to work. And then Tuesdays and Thursdays, I have the 6:30 a.m. jujitsu class. So I can, it's another way of waking up your brain, right? Waking up your mind to get to work because you have someone who is trying to choke you or break your arm or whatever it is that they're trying to do. So it's, every morning you need to do something challenging. You need to put yourself out there. You need to beat yourself up, right? And that's why I love, listening to David Goggins. That is one of the reasons that my Tech Barbarians, the app that they built, or the MVP, and that we're continuing to build, is based on different David Goggins quotes, right? So it can give you that kick in the butt. Actually, it doesn't sound right. I don't say it gives you that kick in the butt when you have poopy pants, right? But that would sound like a disaster. But gives you that kick in the butt so that you can keep going forward. You can there's no days off, right? There are no days off. Like that's, I have so many themes for this year, but there are no days off. We are focused on growth. All right. So just throwing it out there. D said that article is off. Yeah, I think the I think the article is off because of the title. If it had a different title, I would agree spot on with it, right? Everything they're saying is true. It's just that title about like, should QA engineers write automated tests? It's like it's not a valid question, right? If the article was like, how do automated tests benefit QA engineers or benefit the software development team, then it's just but that at that point maybe I'm arguing semantics, right? I might be arguing semantics, all right? So before we go on, if you haven't done so yet, and if you are enjoying the show, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you can know every time that we go live, like the video, share the video, all of that good stuff. Check out the Patreon at www.techcoachralph.dev. You can sign up for free, see everything that we have going on in there. You can sign up for one-on-one coaching with me, where I will help you level up your technical skills. And you can check out the other content that we have in there. I'm like, another goal of mine this year is to add more content to the Patreon. I want to have like some really exclusive, amazing content so that I can help you to, things like centered around like interviewing, resume writing. I like one of the things that I'm going to be doing this month is I'm going to do a private live stream for my Patreon members, where I am going to be updating my resume with my current company, like to add my current company to it, the one that I'm working for, so that they can see like how, like the different ways that I word it, different strategies that I use, using some AI to help word it and stuff like that. It's all about growth and winning, and I want to help the people who support me to win as well, and that we can grow together. All right. So just throwing that out there. Let's move on to our last two questions of the night.
Another one.
This one says, after 6 months of job searching with 2 years of experience, I got a job. And it sucks. So let's read this together. Are you familiar with the quote, "We don't truly appreciate what we have until it's gone"? I would say that's never really been a problem for me. I'm able to move on pretty well. But anyways, that's besides the point. This is where I am. The following is not a joke, drill, or troll, and all exist in the code base. I am magically solely responsible. The previous person left. All right. So it's a huge code base. Think 10 plus projects in Visual Studios. No testing whatsoever. I have to manually test everything. Classes with names like First Class and First Class 1. And there are absolutely no, I repeat, no code reviews. They used to work on one branch and commit on it directly, which is also the live branch. I tried to open a new branch to work on a feature and got scolded for it. The code review is my staff engineer logging in using TeamViewer to see if everything is fine. This sounds crazy. We don't follow Agile, but there is a 45-minute long meeting every single day between 4 people, myself included. Documentation is 4 pages long, and that's mostly white space. At this point, I want to run away and never return, but I don't have enough money in the bank.
One more thing. Price of the brick going up.
I tried to suggest to slowly fix things, but they pretend like I didn't say anything. So now I'm stuck onboarding myself in an unfamiliar to me stack. They didn't mind, which I thought it was cool at the time. You sure thought it was cool until you found out the truth. You messed around and found out.
I'm in a bind, Nate.
I get that the advice will be grind outside of work and keep job searching, but it's been only 1 month in, and I must include the company as previous experience. The way it works in my country, the way it works in my country is they can tell if I was employed and how long for health insurance. Will I look like a red flag since I'm job searching just as I got a new job? I don't want to get into the bad mouthing game and talk about why I want to leave. Whew, that is a tough one, but don't threaten me with a good time. Let's start the clock. All right. So, I'm not exactly sure what position this person has, whether they're the developer or they're the QA person, right? It sounds like they could be in the development team, right? However, I'm going to make a suggestion to whoever you are, like anyone who is in tech, right? And it's going to sound a little bit mean or harsh, but it's for your own good, right? Stop being soft. You guys, like, a lot of times we get so scared because, we were scolded and stuff like that. But you have to do things the right way. right? Because if you do not do things the right way, your life will be miserable. Things are going to be a mess, and you need to continue to preach the right way. You have to be an advocate for good and clean code. My suggestion, right? One of my suggestions is get a couple of books. Get Uncle Bob, Robert C. Martin's book on clean code, the clean coder, clean architecture, all that good stuff, right? And you need to like, don't like, the only thing that you need to do is speak the words of those books, speak those concepts, right? They might think you sound like a jerk or an a-hole because that is the only thing you ever talk about. You don't need to be worried about like being friendly and all that stuff being liked. If you lose your job because you want to do things the right way, then that is going to be a talking point on, why. Because the way that they have it set up, it is a recipe for disaster. I mean, it's not even a recipe. It's already a disaster, to be honest with you, right? But for you to be managing a huge code base and things like first class one and stuff like that, having to test everything manually, no, it's not going to cut it, right? So the first thing that I would suggest, right, is enforcing code reviews, right? Starting to refactor the code, right? Like you need to write tests, right? So maybe you can start writing some test-driven development. And so let's say you want to refactor the classes to have proper naming conventions, because there's no way you're going to be able to use first class one and stuff like that, right? So, and you're going to need to start like implementing unit tests, implementing automated tests, all of that stuff, right? So that, and you're going to need to start branching out. You said, you tried to open a new branch and got scolded for it. So be it. Like if they're going to scold you, let them scold you, right? But what are they going to do? Fire you? They don't have anybody else, right? And I think that one of the reasons that people get so scared because, I don't want to get fired and stuff like that. No, you need to be a force for good. You need to learn the proper procedures. And if they want to fire you for using the proper ethics and professionalism, then that's their loss, right? But just because sometimes getting scolded is how we move forward, is how we bring change and growth, right? So by you saying I am not, if you say I refuse, I will not work on the live branch and push code that way, then he says you're going to be so many times people want to implement change and stuff like that on some whatever social aspects and stuff like that, but they deal with the worst conditions in the working conditions, right? So I say, focus, be a warrior for technical change, technical justice, right? So say I refuse to work on a branch that on the live branch. I am going to open up a new feature branch and we're going to work that way. If you have a problem with it, then so be it. But that is how I am going to work, right? I will not and that's why I cannot stop to recommend the book, The Clean Coder. We need to have professionalism. We need to have ethics. I will not work on the live branch, period. There's no questions about it. No ifs, ands, buts about it, right? I'm not working on the live branch. Simple as that, right? I'm creating a feature branch. I'm going to do the work. I'm going to start refactoring. I'm going to start writing unit tests. I'm going to start doing test-driven development, whatever it might be. I will not accept a code review. I repeat, I will not accept a code review that is done via the staff engineer logging in using TeamViewer. The only way, I'm going to open up a pull request to merge my code into the main branch. And I require my code review to be done via GitHub pull request or whatever tool that you use. Maybe you're using GitLab or Bitbucket, whatever it is, right? But I expect and require and demand to have the proper code review protocol done through through a pull request, right? And you're not logging into my machine via TeamViewer to do this, period, right? It's simple as that. And by implementing these proper code etiquettes, right? This professionalism, it makes you more marketable to go to another company. And like, it's not about bad mouthing, but it's this is how I work. And if you are not able to work this way, then maybe we're not a good fit, right? But I guarantee you that you will be the driving force for good. And to talk about we don't follow agile, but there's 45 minute long meetings. You need to cut that out, right? Say, hey, maybe we need to implement, you might have to be the scrum master to implement this change, but we're going to have daily stand-ups 15 minutes at the most. There's no possible way that we're going to be spending 45 minutes a day talking about God knows what. And, you can be the one to actually start writing the documentation to make it clear and easy to understand as well. It's a lot of work to do, but hey, like I said, don't threaten me with a good time. It's not a bad thing. I think that I the way that I see it, I like to take these opportunities for my personal growth, and I can orchestrate a way that whether I'm going to be at that company long term or not, I use that as an opportunity to build myself, and in the process help the customers, which are my number one priority, but also help the development team and stuff like that. A lot of times it's not out of malice or anything like that. It's just there's a saying, right? There's a saying. Don't attribute to malice what can be attributed to incompetence, right? A lot of times they just don't know, right? So many people didn't have the proper training for development and stuff like that it becomes a total mess. So I say that you can be the driving force for good to help people, but you need to do it the right way. And you need to draw a line in the sand, put your foot down, and say, we're not going to work like this anymore. Maybe that's how you guys work, and that's why you're in the mess that you're in now. But we are no longer going to work like this, and that is my advice to you for dealing with that situation. But it's not all bad, because every single thing is an opportunity for growth. Our focus for this year, growth. Every single thing is an opportunity for growth. And that's what I want you to focus on. Don't try to run for the hills just because it looks bad, or keep grind outside of work and keep job searching. You can do that. But if you pull back from that job searching and you focus on how can I make this better? How can I help this team? I guarantee you will shoot up to in the company, and you will have positions of leadership. You will have acknowledgement. You will have appreciation. And I think that is a much better opportunity for you than the alternative of just whining, complaining, ranting, and trying to find an escape route. All right. Sometimes you learn the most by going through the hardest situations in life, right? Trust me. I've gotten a call from my CTO and his lawyer a few jobs ago at 2:00 in the morning when we were trying to battle a lawsuit. I've been up all night supporting customers in Japan for a deployment that we were doing for a software that we built. So I've been through it, right? And we push through, and I make myself better. I make my company better, and I have a better experience for the customers, which is always what I want to do. All right. So that being said, we are on our last one for tonight. All right. So I hope you're having a good time. I hope you are enjoying the show tonight. It is our first show, season 2, for episode 1, for the year of 2024. I am so excited to be here with you tonight. I have all the energy. So we are going to get into our last question for tonight.
Another one.
So this one says, what are your thoughts on someone being in the exact same job at one company their entire life? Say I work at a company of 1,000 employees with the job title software developer for 30 plus years until I retire. What are your thoughts on that in general? Do you think it's boring Do you think it's good? Do you think I limited myself or anything else? I'm asking because I've met about 10 people like this, and I wonder what people think about that. I wonder if people view this as a good thing or a bad thing, basically. All right. So let's throw our clock up. And here's what I think about that in general, right? The number one thing that I am allergic to is complaining, right? So if somebody is in this position for God knows how many years, but they complain about it all the time, that drives me crazy. Like when I say crazy, it drives me crazy, berserk. I'm like, just go away, right? But if they are content and happy with like the raises that they're getting, they don't complain. They're just, they're like if they're generally happy, like, then I don't care, right? I honestly don't care. If a person like I don't think anything about people who don't complain, right? If you are content, if you are happy, then I am happy for you and we are going to keep it moving. Like we're cool, right? I think the part of the problem is people have too many opinions on things that have absolutely no concern or matter to them. What's it to you or anyone for that stake if someone is content with working the same exact job for 30 years, right? It's their life. It's totally up to them. My problem becomes if that person is constantly complaining and they're complaining to me about it, right? If you're complaining to your wife, to whoever, whatever, I don't care. But if you're complaining to me about it, then my number one thing is, okay, well then do something about it, right? Shut up and do something about it, right? But for me to think about someone who is content with their life, I just don't care, right? It's not a concern to me, right? And I don't know why it should be a concern to you either, because if they are cool, they're not causing any problems, they enjoy doing their job, then it is what it is, right? One of the questions that I do have about this though is like about this, maybe it's more about the scenario, because you said about 10 people who are in the situation where they've been working the same job, same title for I can't believe it's going to be 30 years, right? Because like, what are they still coding in? Cobalt or something, or Pascal, or whatever the name of those old languages are, Fortran. What are they coding in for them to be in that same position for 30 years? Like, I would see it's kind of tough for you to be like, I don't know. I just don't see it possible that you're going to be a software developer, just a software developer for 30 years, because with the experience that you're gaining, I would have to imagine that you'd be maybe senior developer, maybe a principal developer or staff developer or engineer or architect or something. It's just hard for me to see someone staying stagnant in the same role for forever, right? Even if someone was a factory worker for, like back in the days, people would work at the factories for like 30 years until they retire and stuff like that. But I don't think they would be working the line like for all the time, right? They would, I just like, they might become like the manager, the general manager, something in, I could be wrong because I've never worked in a factory, so I could be totally wrong. But like, I just expect like just from longevity as well, and from knowledge and experience that you're going to, and I don't think it would be more of the case for a developer, right? A software developer that, because you're going to be like an expert in the software that the company is building, which I also don't even know a company that's been, I guess Microsoft has been around for more than 30 years, IBM and stuff like that. I don't know. But yeah, it's just what I'm thinking is that, it's just hard to see that someone would be in that same spot as a software developer for 30 years. Like in the same exact spot, like, cause I could see them becoming senior, staff, principal, maybe manager, maybe a team lead, a director maybe. So it's just like I said, if someone is in that same spot, as long as they're not complaining, I couldn't care less if that's what if that's what is works for them, for their family. Perfect, right? Even if it doesn't work for their family, like it doesn't, like if they're not complaining, I don't care, right? I like from what is the name of that book? What is the name of that book? Let me see. One, like I love that book. It was so it was by Ayn Rand, called We the Living, right? And they asked somebody asked the main character in the book, what do you think about me? Right? And she responded, I don't think about you. And that quote stuck with me because like we like to focus on things that really don't matter to us. Like so it's like, what do I think about somebody who's been in the same position for 30 years? I don't think about them or them being in that position for 30 years unless they come to me with a complaint. I'm like, all right, then you got to do something about it, right? You need to level up. I don't, like I said, I'm allergic to complaining. You need to level up. You need to do something different if it's a problem for you. But if it's not a problem for them, then I don't think about them. Like, we're just like, I wish you the best, you know? That's how I see it, right? So anyways, that is my perspective. That is my point of view on that. You know, I think we need to be more focused on ourselves, on our self-growth, on getting better, and less on what other people are doing. If people are happy and content with the way that their life is moving, then let them be. Let them be. Focus on yourself, level up your skills, your life, and everything that you do. All right? So with that being said, all right, those are our questions for tonight. I have my buddy in the chat, Tony. We were training this morning for the new year. Let me get this off the clock, off the screen. So Tony says, real and true to letting people be. If it's not a problem for them, then don't let it be a problem for you. And he says, forget ball and train jujitsu, problem solved. Jujitsu fixes everything. All right. So that is our show for tonight. I hope you had a good time. I am going to ask you the question that I always ask you before we end the show. So my question to you now, I answered all of your questions tonight. So my question to you.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? Is this not why you are here?
I was very, very entertained, and I had an amazing time rocking with you guys tonight. So on our way out, if you enjoyed the show, if you had a good time, and you have not subscribed to the channel yet, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell so you can know every single time we go live. Like the video, share the video, all of that good stuff. Share with everybody. Share it on all of your social media platforms. Let them know that we are doing amazing, amazing work out here. We are doing great things. And if you haven't done so yet, check out the Patreon at www.techcoachralph.dev, where you can sign up for free. And then, and you can get some one-on-one coaching with me too. There's different tiers, all of that good stuff, right? So that being said, we are going to take off. Tomorrow morning, we will be live where we will be doing our coffee and kata. We're going to be getting into testing AI via the OpenAI API. All that good stuff. If you didn't see the show yesterday, we went into an introduction in it. So check it out, all of that good stuff. And we will be back live Thursday night where we will be setting our Tech Barbarians, the application they built, the Poopy Pants application. We'll be setting the domain name for that. So many things to learn, so many things to do. Tomorrow at noon, we have our video coming out, talking about Selenium, Cypress, Playwright. Which one is the one to go into for 2024 as a QA engineer? So many things coming. We're moving forward, right? We're focused. Like I said, the show, the keyword for the show today and for the year of 2024 is focused. We are focused on growth, all right? And we have B Peace in the chat that said, great show. Thank you so much, B Peace, for always supporting.
I appreciate you.
All right, we are going to take off for tonight. Thank you so much for tuning in. I really, really appreciate you all for all of your support and for rocking with me. We are going to take off in 2024. There is nothing that is going to slow us down. Nothing. I repeat, nothing is going to slow us down. But on that note, I will see you guys in the morning. Let's continue to grind. Let's continue to work. Let's continue to be amazing. But on that note, this is Tech Coach Ralph signing off on another Q&A show for 2024.
You might think that getting into the IT field is impossible without a computer science degree, but Tech Coach Ralph is here to prove you wrong. Get ready for some jaw-dropping revelations on how to break into this lucrative industry. Listen up, tech enthusiasts! Are you ready to break through into the IT field, but feel like you need a computer science degree to make it happen? Think again! Tech Coach Ralph has some exclusive, mind-blowing secrets to share with you. Get ready to be blown away by his jaw-dropping revelations on how to break into the tech industry without a computer science degree. So get your notepad ready, because Tech Coach Ralph is going to change your life forever. Buckle up, because you're about to embark on a journey to success in the field.
Hear me, warriors of the North. Today we have tasted the sweet nectar of victory. Our foes indeed defeated, and their lands are now bowed before us. The gods themselves have favored our glorious deeds on this glorious day. We have shed blood, sweat, and tears to claim this land. Our relentless spirit, our unyielding determination. These are the very essence of our people. The spirit of our ancestors rejoice in the halls of Valhalla. For today, we have added to their eternal glory. Our victories will echo throughout the ages, and our names will be etched in the annals of history. But let us not forget the present pain, the brothers and sisters we lost. They now feast in the hall of our forefathers, watching over us with pride. Their sacrifice has paved the way for this moment of triumph. As we celebrate this conquest, let us also remember that our journey is far from over. More land awaits our conquest, more battles hunt us forth, and the fire in our hearts burn ever brighter, for there is no limit to what we can achieve. To those who dare stand against us, and to tremble in fear, for they shall witness the fury of the northern storm, the wrath of the untamed barbarians. Today we celebrate our victory. Tomorrow, we set our sights on new horizons, uncharted land where our banners will fly high. We are Vikings, we're barbarians, we are masters of conquest.